is your host, Benjamin Saxton, and welcome to a Fighter's Chance podcast, where we give people in the combat sports world an opportunity to talk about the things worth fighting for. So today's guest is a professional mixed martial artist. He's only 25 years young, was on the season 3 of Dana White's Contender Series. He just won his LFA debut fight July 24, 2020, served in the military, known as the Water Buffalo. Fabio Cherant, how are you doing, my friend?
I'm doing great. Been better, but can't complain right now. You know what I mean? How about yourself?
I'm doing good. I'm happy to talk with you. I think you got a lot of big things coming your way. You just had an awesome fight here, towards the end of July, and made your LFA debut and did it in spectacular fashion, getting a finish in the first round. So that's a great way to start 2020, at least from a positive perspective, right? With all the craziness going on.
A lot of craziness going on.
How's everything going with you?
One day at a time, you know what I mean? At first, the quarantine was like, it was cool and all, you know, and then after like week 3, it was like, all right, man, it's getting a little out of hand, you know what I mean? And now I'm at the point where it's just like, this needs to just be over because this is ridiculous, you know what I mean? It's tough to live life normal when everywhere you go, you got to wear a mask. You can't be, I just feel like we're living life over here like on a tightrope, and it sucks.
Yeah, it's this new normal. Yeah, it definitely sucks, right? You can't see all the people you want to see. You can't really do all the things that you want to do. And I don't know about you, but I'm a little bit more of a structured person too. I like to have my routine. I like to kind of do the things that I want to do. And like with COVID, that's kind of put a hindrance on things. So
a lot. Yeah, I am. I kind of am. By a certain schedule. If I fall apart from that schedule, I tend to slack off a little bit. You know what I mean? And I don't really. I like I said, at first I didn't mind it because there was nothing else to do, but now it's kind of like, oh, I want to fight, I want to do this, I want to do that, and it's just like I need that schedule in order to like be able to have motivation to do stuff.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of studies going on right now that's showing a lot, like this has really broken up people's schedules, right? So, people get in that routine, they get in that habit of doing things, and then when you take that away from them, it's hard to keep that focus or that motivation or that routine when, it's hard to see that where you're like, okay, I can't do that, I can't do this, I can't
Yeah.
No, I totally appreciate that. So today I want to talk a little bit about, your upbringing, because I think that's an interesting story of kind of how it shaped you and kind of evolving, and then move into a professional fighter. Those that don't know you, you were a foster child. You've gone on other interviews and said you were abused. Your aunt kind of physically and mentally beat you up quite a bit, and so that was kind of not the most ideal upbringing, but from what I've heard from you in the past and other interviews, that's really kind of shaped your allowing you to develop, growing up a little bit faster, and allowing you to have that mental fortitude to kind of handle some of these challenges that come in life. Mm-hmm. So maybe you could talk a little bit about that and transitioning that to how you kind of found athletics and how you kind of evolved as a fighter.
Yeah, so I've talked about before, I was born in Brooklyn, New York, and I bounced around a lot of houses, family members, and then eventually I ended up moving to Boston, where I lived with my aunt, and I got beat a lot, with everything in sight, extension cords, belts, shoes, you name it, it was tough. And one day I made the decision I would run away. I was actually in the process of getting beat, and I just got sick and tired of it. I think I just graduated from the sixth grade, the 5th grade. I just graduated from the 5th grade, and my aunt was working a overnight shift at a hospital, and I think I was watching TV, and I wasn't supposed to be watching TV. I didn't know she was gonna be coming home. I guess she had cut from her shift,
Mm.
and I heard the door ram, the keys jiggling. So I quickly like turned the TV off and unplugged the cable cord and jumped into bed. And she touched the TV. I wasn't thinking, but she touched the TV and the TV was still warm, and she knew I was watching TV.
Oh,
So yeah, I got beat up pretty bad from that, and I started to run away, and then I came back, and she hit me a few times, and then that's when I was just like, fuck this, I ran away. I was actually on my way to the police station, and I remember like it was last night, man. I had no shoes on. I had this tank top, beater, with shorts on, and this random lady had seen me walking and crying down the street, and she had stopped me and gave me her shoes, and like took her own shoes off her feet, gave them to
wow.
me, and she was walking me to somewhere to call the cops. As that was happening, my aunt had pulled up with her boyfriend, and they started chasing after me, and I ran. From there, I got caught by these detectives. At first, I didn't know they were detectives. Dudes in like I'm like 8 or 9 years old. This blacked out car like comes pulling up on me, and these two big dudes just come getting out of the car, like chasing after me, and I'm like, what the frick? I just booked it, and then I realized it wasn't my aunt or anything, so I stopped, and they from there, man, it just life life's been a crazy time. I went to the Children's Hospital in Boston. They examined my body, all the bruises and stuff like that. I immediately went into a group home from there, got into foster care, and yeah, man, in my life ever since then has just been kind of like a growing up process at a really young age. I've had to grow up from the time I was born, basically. I mean, I was bounced around from different homes. Um, my mom abandoned me. My dad passed away when I was young. This is really tough, growing up. But once I hit a certain age, I mean, I used it as like kind of like a motivational thing, like not a lot of kids are going through what I'm going through. So
Right.
it made me appreciate some of the things that I've gone through in life. But yeah, man, once I got into foster care, well, into the home that I was living in until, I mean, I moved out, but I still consider him my dad. Um, I still see him almost like 2-3 times a week. We live like 15 minutes apart from each other. He
That's
goes to
awesome.
all of my fights except for my last one. Yeah, man, that man saved my life. If it wasn't for him, I'd be in Boston, in Dorchester, Hyde Park, wherever, doing dumb stuff and not pursuing positive goals in life. It's just, I think a lot of people would have given up, if they went through some of the things I've had to go through. But um, that's it's part of life. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I appreciate you sharing that side of your story, and you know, no kid should ever have to go through that. You did, and you overcome it day by day. You have those physical and mental wounds or scars, if you will. But how, if you're bouncing around and then you found, your foster home or your dad, when did you start getting into athletics? Because I got to imagine if you were kind of bouncing around, it becomes a little bit more difficult to make friends or stick with, have those close friends where you can stay with, and then find some team sports or individual sports where you can really, whether it's blow off steam, whether it's improve athletically or
Yeah.
achieve those goals.
One sec, sorry.
No worries.
I I got into sports when I moved in at my at the my foster dad's or my dad's that I lived with for some time, you know. I so my older brother Brendan um was big into skateboarding and BMX bike riding. So I got like I've always been very super competitive, you know what I mean? So like when I lived in Haiti, I played soccer where I was pretty good, you know, and when I moved to America, I stopped playing. But so what happened was when I moved to the the house that I lived in, I decided that I got into skateboarding. I got really obsessed with it and I started becoming really good at that. And then I started doing BMX bike riding. Whatever like my older brother would do, I would do, you know, and then eventually I started being interested in football and
Yep.
from there I kind of was just like, oh, I stopped skating, I stopped playing, I started riding the bike, and then played football, and then I played football, and then I started doing track and lacrosse, and then I think about a year or two after no, 3 years after my 21st birthday, I got invited to an MMA gym, and I needed I was in a dark spot. I needed to get in shape. I was not confidence, you know, myself. I wasn't there, you know,
Yeah.
and I needed something to get me in shape, make me feel good, and I decided to try out at wrestling and stuff, and then from there I became obsessed with that. You know, I started going every day, and then like I think within like a month or so of training, the coaches were like, "Dude, you should fight." You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
I was like, "Yeah, I'm down." And then after 2 months, I was getting ready for a fight. You know what I mean? I wish I took my time and and waited a little bit longer before actually fighting. And but man, I'm here where I am now. You know, so can't
Yeah.
really complain. I can't really complain. I'm
I,
learning as I go.
Yeah, I wanted to, you know, those that haven't seen your fights, you know, I strongly suggest them tuning in. They can see it online. You're very entertaining. You know, you're relatively young in your professional career, but you've seen success. You've built off of that success. And you're, what I find very interesting is kind of your, on paper, doesn't really tell the tale of you as a fighter, right?
No,
So I like that because it's pretty cool. You're 5-1. The one loss as a professional is on the Contender Series. You got caught with a flying knee, which if you look back on it, I mean, you still almost kind of regained a little bit. You were trying to come back.
yeah, but it's funny about that. I wasn't like my head was in like I knew where I was. I knew what was going on. It was more like of a surprise than anything, you know.
Right,
And the only thing that really was holding me back was my broken jaw.
right, and
So my jaw immediately broke, you know, and that's the only thing I could think about the whole time. I could hear my coach telling me, "Yo, grab, hook his arm, do this and do that," and I'm like, "Okay." So I hook his arm, and then he starts hitting the same spot again, and I'm like, "Fuck, my jaw hurts so
yeah,
bad." You know what I mean? It was definitely a learning experience. It showed me a lot, you know, and it opened my eyes. After that fight, man, I realized that this is like for a period for a little while. I was like, I had this little thought in my head, like, oh man, like I just got embarrassed on ESPN in front of my dad, my brothers, a couple of friends, and everybody watching back home. Man, I don't know if this is like if I didn't want to stop, but I was like, I don't know if this is what I belong doing. And then like I tried to fight again, and then that didn't happen. And I tried to fight again, then
right.
COVID happened, And then like the whole time, and that little thought was just growing and growing in my head. And then eventually I got that call for LFA, and I was just like, all right, let's do it. And once like I got out there, I saw my opponent. My mind's like that little thought started to shrink and shrink and shrink. And then once I got in the cage and got to be back doing what I like to do, I was just like, nah, man, this is what I belong. You know what I mean? Like I
Yeah.
was just like, this is what I belong fucking doing. You know, like I didn't stop going to college. I didn't like stop like hanging out with my friends and stuff like that just to like have that thought grow and have me stop. You know, so I that fight really showed me a lot.
No, that's awesome. And I mean, it's understandable to have those thoughts creep in after a loss. And I mean, it wasn't like, it wasn't like you were being over dominated in the fight or anything like that. You kind of went in it, and then he caught you with a flying knee, and it wasn't like
Yeah.
you were getting your ass kicked for 3 rounds and then you get finished. But I think sometimes when you have a loss like that, you have that thought in your head and you want to get back in that ring to kind of just erase that. But when you have that delay and you had a broken jaw, so that has to heal, and then you have some external circumstances that happen, whether it's a fighter being MIA or COVID happening, you don't have those opportunities to say, okay, let me get back in that ring or that octagon and erase those doubts. And so the longer
Yeah.
it lasts, it just kind of creeps there, right?
Yeah, for sure.
But I want to get back to, you're fighting it on paper, because those that do know you know what we're talking about. Those that don't know you will learn when they see your next fight. If you look on paper, 5 wins, 5 submissions, you're like, wow, this guy, he's a grappler, he take you down and do all that, but that's really not your style. You just have found ways to finish people, whether it's an anaconda, a guillotine, different ways to choke people out.
Yeah.
So I think that's cool, and I've heard you talk about that previously. Is people might be training for a different type of fighter, and then when they get to see you and they experience your power, they might have a rude awakening coming their way.
Yeah, exactly, man. I train my striking the most. Uh, a lot of people like will see my record and say I'm a grappler, but and this and that, and it's just like that's not the case whatsoever. I think it's just um, not having the opportunity to show off my striking that much. I think my last fight I got to do that.
Yep.
I got to show off a little bit of my striking, what I can do, and how I can mix things up. And it's only up from here, man. I get better every single fight. And the more comfortable I get, the more dangerous I'm gonna be.
Well, absolutely. And they keep giving you opportunities to finish a fight by submission, that you're not going to say no. I could finish it here, but I want to knock you out, right?
Yeah, exactly. That's how I look at it. You know what I mean? I mean, like right before my fight, my corner was just like, "Yo, you realize like if you really need to, you can just choke this guy out." And I was just like, "No, I don't want to. I want to knock him out." And of course, I feel like that was a huge jinx, and I had to go back to the submission, but like, what am I gonna do? I just rocked him, forced him to go for a takedown, and I have a choke set up. Let go of the choke
Yeah.
and try and throw more punches. Maybe he catches gets his wits back, and then I have to go back to trying to put him in that same position again, or just finish the fucking fight.
Right.
Especially in the way I did it in 57 seconds. Like it's just like, come on, like I'm gonna take what I got. You know what I mean?
That's really good fight IQ too, in being young in your professional career, to see that while it's happening, acknowledge it. I mean, granted, yeah, you want to go in, you want to have that highlight knockout, add it to the reel, but ultimately, when it's all said and done, it's a W. You're getting a finish. I mean, that's really what you want. You want the W and you want to finish.
Hmm.
And let's say your next 4 fights, you submit another 4 people. What that's going to tell somebody is don't give them an opportunity to submit you, and then you will get that knockout when they stand up with you.
I hope so. I hope so. Um, we'll see. I feel like every time I make a prediction towards the fight game, it just never ever happens. The only prediction that I made was my last fight, and it was actually correct. So I did a over the phone interview, and they had asked me, they were like, "What is your predictions or whatever?" And I said, "I'm not going to make any predictions because every time I do, it's wrong." So the only thing I'm going to say is I'm going to hurt him really early. Do I capitalize? I don't know, but all I know is I'm going to hurt him very early, and I did. I capitalized. You know what I mean? So I
Right.
was prepared. I was prepared for wherever that fight went. Um, I just, I'm like, when as soon as they gave me the name, I looked him up, and right from there, I was just like, yeah, this is my fight for sure. And like I know like he's a strike. He's got all. I think one submission win, all knockouts or TKOs or whatever it is. I'm not really too sure. I didn't look. I didn't look at how he
Yeah.
finished his
4 knockouts.
Yeah. So he had 4 knockouts, one submission win. And he was just like, I didn't really look at that. I watched the fights that um he lost. I watched one fight that he won, and all of those fights, I watched maybe a minute of it. And each fight I watched, I was just looking at that spots that were like open. And
Right.
one of the things I noticed, he didn't block his body.
Hmm.
So I'm like, all right, I'm gonna punch his body. I'm gonna I'm gonna fake like I'm gonna hit him up top, go to his body, and then from there things will open up. What happened? Went to the body, switched up top, boom, I hurt him, and then from there, you didn't know what to do. I felt a little disrespected. I mean, granted, yeah, I did miss the weight and all this stuff like that. I felt a little disrespected because he was saying that he's fought tougher, more talented fighters than me. I'm like, they you just got finished by somebody faster than all those other guys. I'm pretty sure. I didn't really look at the stats wise, but I'm pretty sure I finished him faster than every single one of those more talented fighters that he's fought. You know what I mean? So it's just like, come on, bro. Like I mean, I didn't really like through the interviews. I mean, I did say um I was gonna hurt him, all this stuff like that, but I don't think I ever disrespected his talent wise.
Right.
I said he's a game opponent, he's tough, all this stuff like that. But hey, it is a fight game. You gotta say and do things to get yourself mentally prepared. So
Yeah,
to
mentally prepared, promoting it too kind of plays in. You hear a lot of times fighters will just start spewing stuff just to start getting those sound bites, getting people kind of tuned in. Whether it's true or not, whether he thought it was true or not. I mean, he found out that you're you're a pretty level fighter, so he found that out pretty quickly.
it's super. I think it's super cheesy, man. I just I'm not I don't like to talk shit. I'm not good at it, so I don't do it. I hate talking shit because I always end up getting stuck like losing the shit talking battle. So I like to be goofy and just have fun. And so like what I'll do is it's like if you see some of my social media stuff, like I'll be like, yeah, man, I'm so excited for this fight. I think I can't wait to have fun. Hopefully, my opponent doesn't throw flying knees at me, like shit like that. I just like to joke around and have fun. I've had like back and forth with one opponent, and it it was funny because even the shit talking, I was doing it in a joking manner. I was
Hmm.
making memes and stuff like that. We were going back and forth with making memes, and then it was only because he had called me out and then pulled out of the fight, and then with no explanation, nothing like
Gotcha.
that. So from there, I started making memes and stuff like that, and joking, having a good joke. And we're actually really cool now. You know, we talk here and there. We've trained together. Um, but like, I don't want bad blood with anybody in this sport. There's no need. If you're already getting in the cage to fight the same guy, what's the point of shit talking?
Right.
You guys are gonna settle the score, you know. Like where I grew up when I was going to school in Boston, there's no shit talking. Is you fought right then and there, and it was over. You guys shook hands, walked away, and like granted, it's not the fight game, but it that's how I carry myself. You know what I mean? I don't wanna shit talk. What like I'm not good at it. I don't wanna be good at it. I'd rather just be me. You know,
Right.
weird, goofy kid from Rentham, Massachusetts.
Yeah, you mentioned that a few times, goofy, childish, having fun. You definitely come across that in your other interviews and kind of your social media posts. Tell me some things you like to do outside of fighting, right? You being goofy, you being yourself, whether it's playing jokes on friends, walk me down that path of how you get a laugh.
So I get a laugh just by just making dumb stuff happen. You know, I'll say dumb, stupid stuff, and I get a kick out of it. Some of my friends don't think I'm funny, but I think I'm fucking funny, so I don't care what anybody says. Uh, I really like just well I like to just hang out with my friends. You know, sometimes they'll force me to go out to bars and stuff like that. But I like to just hang out and like have a good time with my guys. And it just it could be anything, man. We will do like rap battles. I can't rap, but I'll try to. We'll go to the beach, have fires, just like little house parties, and have the get-togethers. Just stuff like that. You know what I mean? Nothing crazy. I'm definitely an adventurer. I like to go different places, and like I was just in Arizona. Um, I I went on a cruise with one of my teammates a couple like 2 years back. I just like to do different things. If it's a something I can put on my list as a cool experience that I did, I'm definitely down to do it. You know what I mean? Like I said, I just like to venture off. You know, I'm actually getting ready to move out of Massachusetts in a few months. I'm going to Arizona,
Okay.
um, and I fell in love with that place. You know, and
Is there a gym that you're looking to get with out that way?
yeah, the MMA lab. I was actually so when I went to visit there early June, I uh, I went and trained over there. You know, met some of the guys there, and it's actually funny. So my best friend from the time I got into high school to now, my best friend, his cousin trains at the MMA lab, who's also in the UFC, and he's a stud. And I remember like when I first started fighting, that his parents and him would always tell me that, yeah, our cousin from California is this uh, stud at kid that he's up and coming, this and that, and then now he's 1-0 stud in the UFC, and he's gonna make a lot of noise, you know. So it was cool. It was cool that I got to actually meet him in person when I was out there. We were supposed to hang out and go for a hike or something like that. I forget what it was, but we didn't end up doing it because I was leaving. But yeah, I can't wait to go back out there and start a not a new life, but start something, you know.
Yeah, it's a new chapter, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a new chapter. That's exciting. And then, you always want to surround yourself with top tier talent and, that competition on a day to day basis, as well as get really good coaches around you, which I know you do already. You have very good coaches around you helping you improve your game. So that
Yeah, that and I figured it's a good spot to live because the PI's there. I'm close to California. There's a lot more opportunities over on that side of the world,
Mhm.
the U.S. Than there is over here. That's my opinion. You know, I could be wrong, but from what I've noticed, there's a lot of a lot of options out there that you know in knowledge of the MMA world. You know, and I'm looking forward to being over there.
You're closer to Vegas, so if you get that call, it might be a little bit of a shorter flight to hop on or a quick drive over.
Yeah,
And
exactly. It's like a 4 or 5 hour drive, and depending on it's a 4 or 5 hour drive to Vegas, and it could be a 4 or 5 hour drive to California. So that's why it's like awesome, man. I'm like seriously looking forward to being over there because I'll have so many opportunities. Like, how many times can you say, "Yeah, man, I'm just gonna hop in my car and drive to
right.
California"? It's not every day you can say that, and I'm looking forward to it. It's gonna be fun. And I actually convinced my brother and one of my other best friends growing up that to move out there with me. My
Awesome.
brother, yeah, my brother's in the process of trying to buy a house there. So and me and my buddy, we're gonna come live with him. It's crazy. I just floated the idea out there to my buddy, and then I told my brother, yeah, I'm moving out to Arizona. And he was like, why? I was just like, I want different in my life, you know? I've been here since I was 9 years old, and I'm sick of seeing the same shit. Every year it's the same stuff. Fall, winter, spring, summer, fall, winter, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm sick of snow. I hate snow. I hate the cold. I just want different, you know? And I just recently told my dad, and he was like, oh, really? You know? Of course, he was like, I give you a year, you know. If I listened to what my dad said half the time, I wouldn't be doing anything with myself. But he knows my mindset is if somebody says I can't do something, I'm gonna go out of my way to prove to you that I'm gonna do it and stick with it. Like, and he knows that, like, all it takes is a plane ticket. You know what I mean? Like, if I do move, like, I'm not gonna be far away. That it's a 5 hour plane ride. You know, um,
Right.
so he knows what's up, and he can come visit me. I can come visit him. It gives him a reason to leave Boston sometime too. And I'm pretty sure he's getting ready to move too. And because he's not doing foster care anymore, so he retired from that. He's actually planning to move it to Florida,
Okay.
and that was one of the options I had because I was like, if you're moving to Florida, I'm gonna move with you. And I actually, when I went to visit Arizona, I was like, Florida, what? I'm like, well, nah, I'm okay. You know
Well,
what I mean?
maybe if he comes and visits you a couple times in Arizona, it'll change from Florida to Arizona. Who knows?
Exactly. You know, so that'll be cool because I'll have people in Boston, I'll have people in Florida, and I'll be in Arizona, and
Yeah.
I can mix it up. And I think I have family in Georgia too, so it's like it's awesome, and I got so many places I can go and visit, and and just learn and have a good time and just experience different stuff.
Well, I'm super excited for your career. I mean, I think you are a couple fights away from springboarding into some big things. What is next? You had the LFA fight, your debut fight. Was that a one fight contract, or was
Yeah.
yeah?
It's
Okay,
a
so
one
you're
fight contract. So after the fight, I went up to the guy Mark, and I was like, "Hey, what's next? You know, I'm fresh, I'm good to go. Let's do this." And I was like, "I can fight next week if you want me to," you know. And he was just like, in his words, he doesn't think I'll be able to fight for LFA again. So I think I will. He wants me to fight. He just thinks I won't be around to fight for LFA again.
the
They would love.
UFC.
Yeah, they want
Yeah.
me to fight. They want me to fight for them again. But he was like, yeah, man, I'm not sure if you'll be around. You know, I'm like, I'll be around. I'll be around for damn sure. And right now I'm looking at September 4th, and if something happens before that,
Right. Yeah, you
you
gotta.
know,
It's it's that balance of. I remember hearing you say too of making sure your body's rested. You fought I think 4 times in 2018. So I mean
I almost fought five.
that's
I
a
almost
lot.
fought, yeah, I almost fought 5 times, but I was like, yeah, man, I'm taking a break. and because like that, I mean, it was like fight after fight after fight after fight after fight, and then like it was like wow, I was kind of like going so fast, you know what I mean? And if I didn't break my jaw,
Yeah.
I would have been fighting a lot more, you know. I would have been close to 10 fights under my belt by now, you know. If I didn't, actually way more than that, you know. If I'm fighting that four times a year, you know, yeah, I would have had close to 10 plus, maybe more by now. And but I'm glad I got some time to heal and like let my body heal up, you know, because this takes a lot on you, you know,
Yeah.
whether you know it or not.
So September 4th, is that a potential LFA, or is there
That
talk
would
to,
be
okay.
that would be LFA. Right now we have some options. Well, some talks. Um, my eyes are set on September 4th for LFA, but the talks are contender series and whatever we can get in a short notice fight if we can um, just kind of see what's out there, what we can play with. You know, I'm just letting my manager do all that stuff. I don't want to think about it because that's why I have a manager.
Right.
There's no point in me doing it. So whenever he gives me the text message or gives me a call saying what's going on, then from there I'll make my decisions. But right now everything's all on my manager, and from he's taking good care of me. You know what I mean? Like it's funny because I think like couple probably like 2 months into the quarantine, I had posted a video of me boxing, and in the caption was like swipe right if you want to see me skateboard, because I was getting bored and I was like I need something to do, you know what I mean? So I was like, yeah, I think I'm gonna start skateboarding again, unless my manager finds me a fight, or I was something like that. I might retire and start skateboarding unless my manager finds me a fight. And I think like a few days later he texted me and was like, yo, I got you a fight. like almost like, yeah, stop, like you're not skateboarding, you know what I
Right.
mean? So
Yeah,
it was
that's all he wants to do is see you just roll or break your ankle
yeah.
or something like
Yeah,
that.
yeah, exactly. Because I have actually haven't even touched a skateboard since I signed the contract. I was actually like getting back into the groove because had been a while since I had skateboarded, and I was getting back into the groove of it. You know, starting to land tricks and stuff again. And then like as soon as I signed the contract, I was like, maybe that's not the best idea. You know what I mean? Because one wrong move, I can
Right.
break an ankle, sprain something, hurt my wrist, you know, and I definitely don't want to do that.
Yeah, you would hate for the opportunity you've been waiting for to come, and then you're like, oh crap, I got a
Yeah,
sprained wrist. But
yeah.
um, I got to ask you, where did the nickname come from?
My coach, my coach, he so I think it was like right before my first fight, he had asked me, did I have any nicknames playing high school like sports or like in general, and I was like, yeah, they used to call me the Nigerian Nightmare, but I'm not Nigerian. And then I was like, I want to be called the Panther or something like that. And he goes, you can't give yourself a nickname. So he was like, I'm gonna call you the Water Buffalo because you're big, you're black, and you're powerful, you know. And my other coach was like, I'm gonna call you NFL preseason, and because I was coming from football, I had just quit football to start training and going into the MMA full steam, you know. And the Water Buffalo just stuck, you know, and it grew on me, you know. I definitely like it, you know. At first I didn't, I hated it, and after a while of like hearing it and like I'm just
It's
like, yeah, fuck it, let's do it.